we thought we would share a few of our favorite things. We'll be having this segment repeated with different ideas throughout our series. So here goes day one, and I would like to start with the lowly canning jar. In addition to being able to do water bath canning and steam canning, these are very useful to store freeze-dried food or fresh vegetables that have already been prepared and vacuum sealed and stored in the fridge. It's a whole food system that works very well if you use these basic materials. This is the vacuum sealer we like. It's the Bunsen Kitchen 3000. V3000 is the model number. It's a very inexpensive one that works exceptionally well. We've never had a fail. And I'd like to show you how we freeze dry jars using not freeze dry, how we vacuum seal jars. First of all, you have to have a vacuum sealer that has a port where you can stick this little piece of plastic hosing that has a knob at the end that will fit into your sealer. These sealers, Food Saver carries them. Sometimes they're hard to find because this has been such a popular thing. I'm demonstrating this as a favorite thing because I use it so frequently and because I had to really stretch to figure out how you could seal a jar with something that is designed for bags. All it needs, and you can check on one you have or one at a thrift store or one at the store, is it needs this little port, a way to plug the cord in. So there are two sizes. This is for the large open, what is this called, the size?
Wide mouth.
Wide mouth jar. And then this one's brand new, so I thought I'd show you the package if you're trying to look for them in the store. This is what it looks like. Joanne, could you open that?
And have you used the Food Saver sealer also?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we like to seal bags like this. Vacuum sealing bags are readily available on Amazon of all sizes. We like this particular size of vacuum seal bag because you can freeze small amounts of food for a family of one or two very quickly. I like to, in combination, label these with my little labeler that I'll show you next. But in the meantime, we want to do a demo, so here is our sample for the regular sized jar. So I have some freeze-dried diced garlic, and you take this ring off and you're just using the lid. By the way, vacuum sealing lids on do not require brand new lids. If your lid is not warped in any way, it can be reused multiple times, which is another advantage in cutting down the expense of packaging when you're trying to preserve foods. Jars end up being just less expensive. They just do. So you can see that the little apparatus that we just unwrapped fits real snugly, and again, the ring is not on the jar. It's just the lid. So you connect it to the other end of the port, the opposite of the port end, and then you push, is it
external link.
Oh, external vacuum. This button right here. Hands-free. And
That was fast.
listen for the pop. If you can hear that, you know you've got a good seal. If you're mistaken, the lid will come off when you get this thing off because it's pretty tightly. I might add that if you try to get this thing off with the port still installed, it won't come off. So now, in a very short time, with a good, decent vacuum sealer, you have stabilized the food in this jar. and this will last several years in under vacuum sealed conditions. I like to vacuum seal a lot of things, and this is just one of my favorite things. Now let's talk about a label for this jar, because you and I both know what it is, but it looks like it could be cubed up anything. So again, that Bonson kitchen vacuum sealer. Oh, I want to say also that we have the traditional vacuum sealers that came out first. It doesn't work all the time, but it works. We have two, one for our food room and one for our kitchen, because we need it in both places. However, we bought a chamber vacuum sealer, and we're disappointed because even though we paid about $300, it was the smaller model. I don't want to say the name of it because it's just a chamber sealer. We ended up sending it back because it would only seal about 3 jars before it would overheat, and we might have 20 from wanting to put a lot of freeze-dried food away. And so we sent that one back, and we got this one instead. And this is a workhouse. I just love this one. It's very uncomplicated, and you can seal regular bags in it. There are several applications that can be, you push the right button and you are free and clear. You've seen me use these jars also to rehydrate freeze-dried food, but it's also a good measure, because it says, well, right on this jar, exactly where 1 cup is, and then up to the top of the rim is 2 cups. So if you want a 2-cup measure and this is nearby, go ahead and use it. Again, this is a quart, and this will hold 4 cups. So if you're measuring 4 cups of something that goes in spaghetti sauce, you've got it. Or even better, if you have home bottled broth, you've got exactly the measure of 4 cups. The product we use a lot that kind of goes with the vacuum sealer is, we now have hundreds of items in our food room that look quite a bit alike. You'd be surprised how similar grated carrots and grated yellow cheese look when they're both freeze-dried. So we decided to get one of these printers. It was a splurge. It's over $100. You never have to add ink. There are no ink cartridges because it works by burning.
Really?
And so you never have to worry about ink. This little printer has several sizes of labels that come in this little cartridge. The size I'm going to demonstrate, you'll see on the bottle, is very multi-purpose. I use it most of the time. But it also has clear labels of about the right size, by about the same size, which is handy for identifying. I've used it to identify instructions on glass jars that are storing staple foods.
Like this back here.
No.
So I have a question about that.
Okay.
When you put the labels on your jars and you freeze it, does it ever run or anything?
No.
Even
It only comes off if you run it through the dishwasher. Then the ink comes off.
But because it's in the freezer,
it
it won't
doesn't
get wet.
smear. And I've tested quite a bit on the freezer, and sometimes the adhesive kind of gives up corners, and but some of it will be on, and they're easy to peel off.
You say the ink comes off in the dishwasher, but it's etched, right? Or it's burned on there? I'm just a little confused.
It's thermal heat
Okay.
or thermal printed.
Isn't
So
that-
somehow
Somehow it's a heat process.
Heat
I don't know the right name to call it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to worry about resetting the ink in it. You're just good to go.
That's
then
awesome.
Here's an example of using those clear labels. The clear labels are about the size of an address label, but they work the same way with the thermal heat setting the message. And these are actually 2 labels side by side. You can adjust the font on each label, but it's got to be all the same. So on one label, I put a big sign that this is Farina. And on the second label, I put the recipe because I can never remember the relationship. This is 1/3 cup of cereal to 2 cups of water. Farina has a 6-to-1 ratio, and so I keep a 1/3 measure right in the Farina so that making cereal for breakfast is very quick. I've measured and I'm done. So the clear labels have a The clear label has a very useful purpose. So the 3 labels I have are great big labels that we use for putting on storage buckets or plastic totes. Those big things need a little larger label, and you can adjust and have it fit pretty well on the larger label. But I'm going to demonstrate, you can use several sizes. I'm going to use the standard size. On my tablet I have the command aimed at the printer, and you can see that it's processing now. So I put several things on this batch. This size you have to print 5 at a time. So I find myself anticipating the things that I'm going to need, and we did a batch of strawberry peach jam that I'm now putting on the rest of these jam jars that we did the other day. It's so nice to be able to clearly see.
And they're easily removable?
Yes, I peel them right off. They can go through the dishwasher, but they'll lose its ink, and about the 3rd washing they end up at the bottom of the dishwasher. So I don't recommend having that habit. Just peel it off
But you don't have to scrub it
before
off.
you
It
put.
just
Nope,
comes right
nope,
off.
it does. It peels right off.